And welcome back, Reefers, to another episode of Tristian's Reef. Today we're going to take a look at what to do when your growth exceeds your capacity within your reef. So today we're going to frag the reef. In typical Tristian's Reef fashion, every project begins with a box, and this box was no slouch. For this project I decided to go with a modular marine acrylic frag tank. The tank measures 24 by 24 by 12 with sanded and polished edges. The design to build took around a week, and this is what was delivered. The frag tank arrived well packaged along with other goodies that we will get into later. However, when choosing a tank, I wanted a tank that was light, versatile, easy to move, easy to clean, no cure time, and easy to modify. And this acrylic tank hit the nail on the head. My tank arrived with perfectly glued and clear edges. There were expertly cut holes for the Modular Marine Ghost style overflow system, and all my seams lined up. The tank was perfectly square. My tank was built with 1/2 inch thick heavy duty acrylic, which I think is very important, especially in an environment and in a tank where your hands are going to be in and out of quite often. Overall, I was very pleased with the build quality of the tank. I really loved how the perfectly square edges really accented the rest of the items in my room, including my display tank. And I also really liked the fact that the Modular Marine Ghost style overflow was pre-fit to the tank before it was delivered. Modular Marine also provided me with a lot of the materials and bulkheads that I would need in order to get the system up and running, which was a great added bonus, and that came at no additional cost. So no tank is complete without a great overflow system. And for this project I decided to go with a Modular Marine's Ghost style overflow. I went with this overflow for quite a few reasons. First, the top of the exterior box mounts above the top of the skimmer box by about 1/4 of an inch instead of below the waterline like all of the other manufacturers build them. This is to reduce the risk of flooding and overflowing the exterior box. There's also a notched out area that is made to fit over a tank with a trim, but it also works for rimless tanks like in my application, making it scalable. I was amazed at the ramp style overflow teeth of the skimmer box, which allows water to flow evenly and quietly into the overflow box rather than being projectiled into it. The overflow box features a perimeter top brace on the exterior box and countersunk polycarbonate lids for both the internal and external components to keep critters out. Removal of the skimmer side box is easy and it fits snug without any concerns of it falling off during use. And for drains, I went with a single custom drain, but they come standard for use with a 3-drain bean animal setup. Overall, the Ghost style overflow is heavy duty, well built, and a marvel of old and new overflow style technology. So with the frag tank and the overflow settled, it was time to find something to put this tank on. And I decided to work with Framingtech. Framingtech is a manufacturer, designer, and distributor and fabricator, and they're also an installer of modular aluminum extrusion and accessories located in Rochester, New York. And I decided to work with them to create a stand for my frag tank system. So what I was provided was basically perfectly cut, machined pieces of extruded aluminum, all of the hardware that was necessary, and all I needed to do was to grab myself a T50 socket wrench and get started. Assembling the stand was pretty easy. I didn't need any instructions and it was pretty self-explanatory. I found that by anchoring and doing 3 sides first will give you a great base to work on all of the other sides and components, but building the stand itself only took me about a 1/2 hour at most, and that was with me just making a couple of silly mistakes and trying things out a different way and really just trying my best to make sure everything was straight. The sides lined up perfectly, building the stand took very little time, and overall it was a great and rewarding experience because I had a stand ready to go in a 1/2 hour. I contemplated using wood to build a stand in order to match my display, but with my tank upgrade happening within the next couple of months, I didn't know what style stand I would have, and rather than building a stand and not being able to match it, I decided to build a stand out of aluminum and then match this wrapping to my new display aquarium. So a few short minutes later, after tightening up all of my bolts, I had a perfectly built stand. Now my stand measures 30 inches tall by 24 by 24, and I worked with Anthony over at Framingtech in order to design and build the stand. The process was simple, straightforward, and easy to do. I simply submitted my proposal for what I wanted in terms of a stand, and Anthony was able to draw up and design a stand for me and tell me all of the materials and why they were chosen. In this case, Anthony also provided 4 leveling feet for my stand. Knowing that this was an aquarium installation and an acrylic one, I may need to level the stand on an uneven surface in order to make sure I have even pressure across the bottom. Now, one thing you don't see here in this particular video is the board that I'm going to place between the tank and the stand itself, and this is just to support the bottom of the tank. I am dealing with acrylic after all, and the acrylic will bow over time, especially with significant weight on it, and I do plan to have a small sand bed in this tank. So the last step in this build was to go ahead and get that overflow box from Modular Marine mounted, and it mounted up beautifully. So the stand height and where the overflow box is located will give me an opportunity to gravity feed the drains from the tank into my main display sump, which will give me the perfect amount of turnover and also allow me to have a very quiet overflow without purchasing any additional equipment. So guys, it's time to wrap up this video now. I'd like to thank Anthony over at Framingtech and Modular Marine for their awesome products. And in the next video, we're going to definitely be plumbing this bad boy, adding the sand, and getting everything set up and ready for some flags. Thanks a lot, guys. Please, if you like this video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you the next time.